Hey, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how the fruit of the Spirit is a result and not a goal. My dad was a farmer, and as a farmer, you have to make straight rows with your crops. And there was a method to that. The way that you make straight rows with crops is that you keep your eyes fixed on a certain point in the distance as you plow. And so, as you're plowing and you keep your eyes fixed there, you look back at the end of the row when you get there and you see that you have a straight line behind you. If you were to look anywhere else, if you were to look down at the ground and try to make a straight row from there because you think that's how it's going to go, based on just keeping your vision right in front of you and not fixed on a point in the distance, you look back and there's waves, there's crookedness in the row behind you. So myself, growing up, me, my dad, my siblings, we would get up really early on Thanksgiving Day and we would set up the field for our annual turkey bowl. So we'd get up at 5 in the morning, it'd be freezing, and we just wanted nothing but to go back to bed because it's Thanksgiving, it's a holiday, but we would get up and we would set up this field early so that it would be ready to go by the time everybody else got there at 8 o'clock. And while setting up the football field, my dad had to teach us to set up cones the same way that he would plow fields when he was a farmer. You would have the stack of cones in your hand and you would start at the point where you want the corner to be, and then you would look straight ahead and you would pick a tree, you'd pick a part of the fence or whatever was on the other side of the field. You would have to fix your gaze on that point. And then when you walk and you just put a cone down and you don't even look away, you just keep your eyes there, you walk forward toward that point, you put another cone down after however many feet, and you keep going all the way to the end. And we would look back and we would find that we had a straight line. Now, as children, when we first started doing this, it took us a little while to learn this because we thought that we can just walk straight and put cones down and we wouldn't keep our eyes on a point in the distance and we would look back and there would be cones off right and left and it just wouldn't be a straight line. It would look pretty awful. So the point I'm trying to make is making a straight line with the cones was technically not the goal, even though that's what I was there for. The goal that I was set on was that point in the distance. That tree in the distance was my goal, or I had to pretend that that was my goal. And so I would look back and find that I had a straight line after that. And in the same way, the fruit of the Spirit for us technically is not the goal, it's the result, because our ultimate goal is to glorify God with our lives. A good example of this comes from Matthew chapter 14, verses 29 through 30, and it says this. And climbing out of the boat, Peter started walking on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the strength of the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." And so Jesus pulls him out of the water and says, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And what Peter needed to understand there is that his goal was not to walk on the water. His goal was to have faith in Jesus. And the walking on the water was a result of him having that faith. So the Bible, when it talks about bearing fruit, that means that's what you're known as. That's your reputation. And that's what shows on you as a result of something. That's what bearing fruit means. And so oftentimes I think that we tend to make fruit our goal. I want to be kind because I want to be known as kind. I want to be loving because I want to be known as loving. And we make the fruit our goal. And that's a shallow and incorrect way of approaching being Christ-like. If our gaze is not on him, then it's all for nothing. And when our goal is to glorify God, then that fruit shows as a result. It grows on us. If you keep your eyes on the goal, the fruit will follow. And this is just like looking back to see a straight line of cones. If you keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, that's what your life will look like behind you. You'll leave the trail of fruit. You'll bear that fruit when you keep your eyes on him. Proverbs 4:25 through 27 says, "Let your eyes look forward, fix your gaze straight ahead. Carefully consider the path for your feet, and all your ways will be established. Don't turn to the right or to the left. Keep your feet away from evil." So as long as you have your eyes fixed on Jesus, if you have your heart set on glorifying God and pleasing him, all those fruits will follow. Keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus also helps us in our fight against sin. Galatians 5:16 says this, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not carry out the desire of the flesh. And so walking by the Spirit was the same thing, keeping your eyes fixed on Jesus, keeping your desires, your hopes, your dreams on God and what he has in store for you. If you have God's glory in mind first, then all of these things will come into play. The fruit of the Spirit will grow on you. The succumbing to sin will happen less and less as you keep your eyes fixed on Jesus Christ. So are we leading a life that keeps God as the focus and keeps him as the goal? Don't just settle for the shallow, I want to be loving, I want to be kind. Those are all great things. Those are awesome things. Those are the result of godly living, not the goal of godly living. Thanks so much for listening.